Episode 11, Sense and Insensitivity. First of all, this title is great. I love the wordplay of each of these episodes. And second, say it with me now, King is best boy.
He is.
Good Lord.
So, Brock, your general impressions of this episode?
Oh, taken as a person who is going on 7 years of writing a fan fiction.
Mm-hmm. It's accurate, right?
Part of this is very triggering. Well, not quite, because being my writing partner, Chris, get along on most decisions. The thing that happens with most people is they're just like, do you guys enjoy killing off characters? No! We just feel that people need to be sad. There was...
You need to
What
traumatize our characters.
Yeah, that actually was the literal thing I was going to bring up. I can't remember what I saw it off of, but there was a pit. I can't remember. It was from AG Nonsuch, and I don't think I'm gonna be. Yeah, they're my writers, and I get to choose how I traumatize them. They're my OCs, and I get to choose how I traumatize them.
Yep, pretty much.
So I get the process of standing there like the cork board and all that when we wrote one that had like 5 OC characters in it. That's RWBY fan fiction. And then we wrote another one where I was like, what if we wrote a thing about how 2 characters who were not canon, a couple at that time, they became later, hiya! Adopted a kid, and I was like, what if we had her go through school and we just had to mostly be OCs? And then we came up with like 56 of them. And then there was color padded papers and the whole shit. My whole kitchen table was taken up with stuff. We had a Rolodex thing, and I was like, oh boy. Yeah, it was somewhat accurate.
I love episodes of, of shows that break down the creative process. And the fact that this was a King-centric episode, again, just made me love the character even more.
Yes. What's in the story? Violence. Anything else? Blood.
Misao, what are your opinions on shipping?
You don't insult them.
That was going to be something I was going to bring up.
You don't insult shipping.
Don't you dare insult shipping in my presence.
The fact that the show that we do reviews for has an entire shipping chart on Excel spreadsheet.
Oh my god.
That thing is a monstrosity.
Oh my god. I thought that was fake, and then I think you told me, I was like, it's real. I'm like, oh my god.
Hold on. We're gonna, for context, because Mike has to see this thing. RWBY shipping. And all of them have names, by the way. Every ship has a name.
Someone sat down and did this.
Oh, I haven't seen this in a while. Okay, so we're gonna get us down into here, and then I'm gonna show you this thing, Mike, and it's gonna be a time.
Is it all just one page?
Oh no, it's all one page, and then you start getting to the point of where, okay, here's that, and then there is quintuples, and then there is octorigies where they get all of these different things and that, and then note from Ship Carter, hey guys, we're a popular ship days to approve. This thing's ridiculous. Like, there's like, what if there was like 5 of one character and it was called Snowstorm because the character is possibly but like, even if it was one page, this is character with every other character ever made.
Oh my god.
This thing does not stop.
No.
And it goes all the way up. And then like Maria, because she's an 80-year-old woman, she doesn't get shipped with a whole lot of people. But this thing just goes.
On and on and on.
There.
So this is so many type of fandoms and how fandoms shift certain things and the deep levels of it.
Yeah. But that's what I love about this episode, is that it really kind of gets into the weeds of celebrity culture, of, you know, how publishers can sometimes be just the absolute worst.
Mm-hmm.
And they do kind of make fun. And they do kind of make fun of how sequels are sometimes just not as good as the original.
Yeah, we want to talk about crunch time.
Yep. They really get everything down pat in this episode.
I just love when episodes inside studios like, ha ha, they're making fun of us for the things that we do. Ha ha ha. It's either that or, yeah, we didn't even look at the episode. We don't care. And then find out later, what did you, like, obviously we're watching the episode, because that reminds me of, like, editors not paying attention. Misao is not going to have an idea what we're talking about. But the guy who created Power Girl, or it was either the guy who created her or the guy who was writing her. Power Girl is, it's going to be really weird for Misao if I don't bring this up, is a girl who is known for being an Earth 2 version of Supergirl. And she's notorious for having what the layman term likes to call a boob window. And the person, I can't remember who this writer was, but there was a person who was writing and doing the inking, basically just kept making her boob window bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to wait to see if anyone would actually notice at DC. Can't remember who it was. If anyone remembers who that was, put it in the comments. So sometimes I wonder on these shows how much of this is actually noticed and okayed by the people making it, and what got okayed because no one was actually caring.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot of that in shows like this, or stuff in the 90s like Animaniacs or Freakazoid, where they'll slip some sort of sexual innuendo, or just any sort of adult joke.
I found prints. No, fingerprints.
Right.
No, thank you. God.
But yeah, that's King's story, how his lust for power results in him winning this book competition and getting his 15 minutes of fame. Meanwhile, the B plot is Ida and Lilith basically going on a wild goose chase.
Because they got scammed.
And the weird part was, at the beginning of that, I honestly thought they were going somewhere else with it.
Where did you think they were going with it?
At the beginning of the episode, you hear Ada talking about how she's got wrinkles showing up because the curse is getting worse. And she's like, I need to find that for the Emperor. And then, don't worry, Ada will still be here when we get back because the curse is getting worse. I was like, is she going to show up when they're stealing that thing and she steals it for her? And I was like, no, but in order to do that, she would have to dispose of Steve. Steve needs to be there because Steve gets shoulder pads.
Oh, you see Steve. Hello.
Steve
is Steve.
Steve is Steve.
Steve is Steve. You'll know why. You'll know why as we go on.
Yeah. But what's nice about this B plot is you get to see a little bit more of the dynamic between Ida and Lilith. One thing I love is every time they come across each other, it's just like they regress back to children because they're just so immature until it's time to get serious.
Yeah.
But like, even though they're kind of on different sides of the law, they're still sisters. They still care about each other.
We wanted to talk about contracts also.
Yes.
The amount of times I've heard of people just being screwed on their contracts, something they didn't realize when they were younger, and other things like that is just, boy, the shit people get away with because they didn't have a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
It's accurate. It's sadly accurate.
Mm-hmm. I know this episode is mostly about authors, but you know, I think of some of the worst cases of people under like under contract, like Judy Garland.
Anyone who's seen anything coming about Judy Garland and you're mad at Julie Garland, shut up.
Yes.
Sorry to tell you, no.
That whole thing was just, oh boy.
Yeah, that's one way of saying it.
But how do you feel about the I guess the conflict between Luz and King?
I mean, I got it. Like, I totally get that. If someone would have ran off with an idea that I had come up with, I'd be pretty pissed. Mm-hmm. So it was very realistic. And then just stamp your name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that happen far too often. You know, if you're a Batman fan, everyone knows about that.
Yeah, there's instances of that are correct, and there's instances others that are not. Comic books are notorious for this crap.
Mm-hmm.
It is all depends on who gets to write history.
Sadly, that is too accurate.
Anyone look up Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and you'll get a little bit of that. It is better than the Stan Lee and Steve Ditko thing, not by much, but it's better. No, worse, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, worse. The Steve Ditko Stan Lee partnership is better than that one, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a fun time. Make sure you're actually friends with the people you're creative with. That's all I gotta say.
And also make sure you read the fine print of the contracts.
Mm-hmm. And then have someone else read it. And then have someone else read it. And then have someone else read it. And then pay someone else to legally read it.
Yeah. As we're recording this, the writers and actors strike are still happening.
Yeah.
Speaking of contracts and creative people not being treated fairly in any sense of the word.
No, and then people who make 3 times more than I do in a year in a day, literally calling second meetings to try and antagonize them about how good their original shitty deal was and can't understand how they didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bob, people used to like you. Shut the hell up.
It's amazing how in less than a year he's
less than like 6 months. And it all happened within a week.
Mm-hmm.
The second he actually started speaking. Anyway.
Yeah, fair warning. If any of these videos go off track, it's because the show brings up a lot of
things.
Yeah, a lot of real world elements that still tie in nicely to the narrative.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're not getting paid to make these videos, so no one's going to say, hey, you can't say that about that person. Even if they did, I'd be like, cool, you don't need to pay me. I'm going to say it anyway. Because guess what? There ain't nobody who's not going to tell me that I can't stick up for people that are being used and abused. Sorry!
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why this episode just holds up just so well, even with all of this madness going on in the entertainment industry. And
what happened with the show, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
The next episode is a bit more character focused, and you get a little bit more lore involving the magic of it all. But before we get out of this one, any final thoughts?
Be good to the people that make the things for you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get paid otherwise. And you
Exactly.
take all your money that you don't bitch that they want to steal from you.
Yep.
Yeah, just as a reminder, these writers are asking for less than 1% of what these CEOs are making.
And some of these CEOs, again, make $74,000 a day. And then write articles and tweets about how how delusional these people are with their writing demands as they sit in swim trunks and a beach towel on a $4 million yacht.
Yeah, very much.
Yes, Bob. People see pictures of you being reasonable.
This industry is broken.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then brag about how much money you're saving not paying people. No shit. You're also not making any money.
In fact, you're kind of even losing money.
Ah!
So yeah, pay your writers, pay your actors, pay people what they're worth. But okay, Misao, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at whatever it's called at the moment at Kibalove028.
And Brock, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at a social media platform formerly known as Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Organoid0.
And you can find me at various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, Podchaser, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. And until next time, bye!
Bye!